All right, folks. Well, we've got a few people that have come in more recently, so we'll go ahead and get started. I hope that everyone had a nice Thanksgiving and getting back into the swing of things today. As you saw with the invitation that we sent out, we're going to cover a few things today. We'll start with, again, reminding you to go download the Holiday Social Promotion Guide if you haven't already. Be sure to get that, and while the holidays are quickly approaching, there's likely still time to run some things, but also it'll give you some ideas for things you can run for future holidays like Valentine's Day, where obviously it's more specific but very, very applicable. So we're going to talk a bit about the new and improved reviews widget. We're going to talk about using customer reviews to drive engagement on your site. And we're going to talk about audience development, specifically using our print-to-web approach. And you've all seen this. We cover it in the initial demo, but I want to revisit it, and Ryan's going to add some thoughts as we've observed publishers starting to implement new variations, some things that you should be aware of as you're looking to develop your audience more fully. Again, any questions that you have, be sure to post them, and we'll address them as we're going through. So, about a year and a half ago, we introduced the first reviews widget in beta. And the idea behind the reviews widget is really quite simple. It's that businesses have a listing on your site. And if they can develop customer reviews and a great reputation on your site, that's good for them. It's good for them to do it on your site, on Yelp, on City Search, on Google Places, all of these things. The problem comes down to, what happens if I have this great reputation and someone goes straight to my own website? There's no real great way for me to show that off. And so we created the reviews widget. When we introduced it in beta, we had this fundamental understanding of what we wanted to accomplish and wanted to see how people used it. And a lot of people used it in different ways. We learned that there were some new opportunities, and so we went back to the drawing board and rebuilt it with some more robust code and more complete flexibility and things of that nature. So what you see on your screen here is a real business from Southlake, Texas that has a real listing at Southlake Style. And what's happening here is we're passing through, of course, the logo. So if you were to look at this widget on OnSite's website, you could click the logo and immediately go out to their listing at southlakestyle.com. So right away, you're able to, as a publisher, get more traffic to your website by having people install this. The next thing you see is a tagline down below. Tagline is a feature that's only available currently on upgraded listings, so it's nice little reason to upgrade. Below that, you'll see recent reviews. They're sort of truncated, and then you can click Read More to see them in the widget. And then you see the publisher's logo. So what this does, if you sort of harken back to what Locable is all about, creating Main Street for the 21st century, this is one of those ways that we're trying to build these roads that lead to Main Street. And so every time someone goes to OnSite, if they have this installed, they will see Southlake Style, and that's valuable to them, and of course a link out to their website as well. And finally, at the bottom, you may not be able to read it through the webcast, but it says get a reviews widget for your website. And so now, as a plumber goes to OnSite and is looking at their services, they go, that's pretty cool. I wonder if I can get that for my site. Oh, yep, I see that I can, and they can click right on that and start the process to either register for their listing or go in and get the widget. So this is something that has the potential to go viral a bit within your community. And so this is the first of a number of tools that we're starting to build for local businesses. And when I say tools, I mean it has value aside from people going straight to your website. And so there's some things that they can do with that. Couple things to note. Obviously, collecting reviews becomes more valuable to the business because they can show them off, but it also is a great reason for you to make sure that your advertisers and prospects are creating their listings and they know that they can use this tool. It is freely available to every listing. Now, if you have an upgraded listing, you get some added benefits, such as only the 4- and 5-star reviews will be passed through. We still, if someone leaves a negative review, it will still be stored, but it won't be shown in the reviews widget. Likewise, you have the ability, we're refining some of this now, but to have a featured review. So we all have those things about our business that we really cherish, that we want our customers to know about. And if a customer leaves you a review that really hits on those high points, done right the first time or whatever, whatever that happens to be, making a review featured will allow you to highlight that both in the widget and on your listing itself. And then we're also adding the ability to have a link added to a review. And what I mean by that is you may have a customer come in and you're a hair salon, and they talk about their experience with you. Well, it's possible you may have taken a picture of the before and after of that particular client, for instance, and so you may have that posted in a blog or somewhere else. You could then append the review with a link, and so all of that builds more traffic and engagement for the business and adds more value, and is, of course, another reason why people will want to pay to upgrade. And again, we handle all the marketing that will go with that. So the reviews widget is sort of step one, and you'll see that we continue to expand its capabilities and actually, in fact, add additional widgets. Now that we've got this framework in place, we can duplicate it somewhat easily, but it's a great starting point for you. So as you think about your advertisers and prospects, definitely think about how can we fit into their website, and the process of installing it is really quite easy. I'm going to switch over to our website here, and as you scroll down on Locable Business Services, of which this is part of, you will see a screenshot of how to select the widget. So you can choose the number of reviews, the height and width, and what the background is. In this case, it's transparent, though you could have a solid background if you'd like. And then it generates this code, which you simply copy and paste in. So this has literally been pasted in, and this is a live reviews widget from the system. This can be used in a number of configurations. Obviously, a lot of websites do have a sidebar, so it fits nicely. If they wanted it to be wider, they could do that as well. So we've built some more flexibility into it and trying to extend it there. Anyone can install this. If you'd like to help them, you can. We do have an installation support offering where for $50 we'll do it for them. It's not real cheap, but it's sort of, they don't have to worry about it. So so we can get that installed onto their website if you'd like help with that. So with that, I'm going to transition. I'm going to talk about how you can further use reviews, but I'll again pause and give you all a moment to ask any questions that you might have about the reviews widget before we continue. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and move on to the next step. So the great thing about reviews, or there's a number of great things, but the great thing about reviews is that to leave them, a person has to be enrolled. And they can, again, do this with a verified email and password or with social sign-on. But they have a membership on your site once they're doing that, and a verified email. And so we can do some interesting marketing. And so what you'll see is that then we want to get more and more people leave reviews. So to stick with South Lake Style, a while back, they had the idea that they would do a contest to find to see which business can get the most 5-star reviews. And they said, whoever gets the most 5-star reviews in the next 30 days, we're going to do a profile about you in print. Effectively a one-page ad, although it was meant to be content and whatnot. So as you can imagine, some businesses got pretty excited about this. Many of them started lobbying their clients to leave reviews, all of that sort of thing. And the winner was this martial arts academy that drove 144 5-star reviews, actually in about 10 days. It was so successful, in fact, that it was part of what led our rebuild of the page to better accommodate that many reviews. But what it led us to realize is that you as publishers have these unfair advantages. We talk about this a lot, and obviously there's Yelp and there's CitySearch and there's these sites that specialize in reviews, but they can't do what you can do. They can't offer that sort of incentive. They can't offer, even to offer a profile online, which is just added little recognition, or perhaps a mention on Facebook. Congrats to our winner of the December, reviews contest and email. And so what you can do is you can use these reviews to get all these people to promote themselves and your website in the process. Right now, we don't have an automated way of tracking reviews by date, but as we start to get more of you using this, we're going to implement that tool. So hopefully this resonates with you, and we'll get some interest back, and then we can build out that feature to go with it. But we can collect these reviews. You can obviously show them off and do some great things. What's great too is we're actively working right now on adding a lot more marketing to this site. So as people take action, that it results in an email. If you leave a review, you'll get a confirmation. If you receive a review, you'll get a confirmation and a prompt to take action. Share it to Facebook. Upgrade your listing. If you leave a review for a business, we're going to include a message that says, "Oh, are you a business owner? Click here to create or claim your listing or learn more about advertising." And so all of these things get people in the funnel. They may not be clients. They may be readers. They may not be readers, right? Because businesses are now promoting themselves to their clients, but it gets them into your brand. And so when this happens, it further reinforces the value of the reviews widget. And so you hear a lot about this idea of lock-in, right? As you build up your brand on Southlake Style, you're likely to further invest to further build it and leverage that brand that you've been building. And so that's where you'll see some upgrades and some of the new features coming that people can leverage. So it makes the reviews widget more valuable as you drive more reviews. But then the winners, if you do a web profile, you can use our inserted content feature, which we talked a lot about last week, to drop in links to your directory. So then you have an article that then links out to the directory. You could even embed the widget from the winner on the article about the winner and then share that to Facebook or email or whatnot. So again, you can build these internal links within the system. And this is just, again, the sort of thing that you can do that really sets you apart from the web-only plays. It sets you apart from your print competitors, and it results in content for you that you frankly don't have to pay for, which is all very good things. As I was talking, we got a question, where can I find an example of the widget? Well, if you go to locable.com and then you click for publishers and Locable Business Services, everything related to tools, the directory, or even building websites for local businesses, should you have clients that need websites, will appear under Locable Business Services, or at least it's categorized that way. So when you come here and you scroll down below the fold, you'll see the example. Though all of you should, if you haven't already, create and claim the listing for your magazine in your own directory, in part so that you can see what that process looks like. There is a bit of information on that process. If you go to our support center and come into Community Content Engine and scroll down to the directory, you'll see some information about how you actually go about claiming your listing, how you go about managing it and updating the information, and how you do these sorts of things. What's missing from this little screenshot here, actually no, it's there. So when you're looking at a particular listing that you own or are a manager of, one of the tabs will be customer reviews, and that's where you can actually go through and generate these reviews widgets to embed. So take a look at the Help Center there. And if you have any questions, specific questions or general, post them. And we're going to continue beefing up our Help Center to have more and more screenshots so that you can really see how things work. But walking a good, loyal customer through the process would be a great way to see it and see it firsthand. You know, obviously we've talked a lot over the last few weeks about different types of contests you can run, from social promotions to things you can run on your site with photo contests to this sort of contest and Reader's Choice. The whole purpose of these contests is to create new and fun ways to engage with your audience and to help businesses be a part of that conversation. And again, I hope all of you see that this is very complementary to what you do in print. How much you choose to pull from the web to push in print and how much you choose to push your print readers online is up to you, but we will help you do that, and it will help you set yourself apart from all of your competitors that don't have this capability. So I hope that you're seeing things that sort of get you excited about ways to just enhance what you're already doing, and that's really what we're trying to work towards with you, is that work smarter, not harder. I'll give you just a moment to post any questions that you have around driving engagement minute with reviews, and I will then continue on to print to web. So a question came in. So there's a link from a claim listing for the widget. So you have to be the owner of a listing to get to the to access the widget. To access the widget builder. So I'll go ahead. I'll go through this process. So I'm going to go to one of our sample sites, and so you have to obviously be signed in. And again, if you're unclear if you're signed in, look up here. If you see your email address, you're signed in. You click on that, and then Profile, and it takes you to your personal profile on the site where you can control a number of things. And if you click Directory Listings, you'll see a number of listings that you're associated with. My account's a little bit special, so I'm associated with a lot. We are going to add some features too for local web developers and local search engine optimization providers to be able to actually manage their clients through your site, so it becomes a tool for those professionals as well. But I'm here, I'm looking at the particular business. This is how I update all the information for the business. I can look at the reviews that customers have left me, and then on the right I've got the reviews widget. So I can click into that, and I can come through here and see the default size. There's no reviews in this case, and it's on one of our test sites, so it's our logo that passes through. But I could choose to make this wider if I wanted to, make it very wide, and I hit preview, and you'll see that it changes the look and feel. So there's a lot of things you can do to configure it, and then you simply copy this code. You can just click that button, and then you can go to any website and you can embed it. You could even let me pick one that's going to be the right width. And I could go in and I could even embed it right into the sidebar on the site. Just take that code that I copied, paste it right in, hit save. Not everybody has a website that they know how to access the sidebar posting, so some will need help, but clearly it's a pretty straightforward process. And there you have your reviews widget dropped right in. And then someone can click to write a review, and it takes them immediately to the reviews page on your site. If they are not signed in, it would say, it would prompt them to sign in before leaving a review. So pretty straightforward process. Very, very excited about this tool, and we want to be pretty proactive with you over the next few weeks to make sure that people are installing it, that they're using it, that we're getting feedback, that we're refining it, and that it's building brand exposure for you everywhere that it appears. Great question. All right, I'm going to move on, and I'm going to talk a bit about print to web. Ryan has some feedback to include as well. If you have any other questions, continue to post them, and we'll hit them as we go through. So print to web is a part of audience development, right? And this is this generic bucket of how do I get more people to engage with me? The best way to get more people to engage with you is to get the people that already engage with you to do it more often. So if you're monthly or bi-monthly, how do we get them to go online between that? How do we get them to sign up for Facebook or email lists or whatnot? And so the social promotions are obviously an important piece of what we do there. They're fun, they're engaging. Who doesn't like free stuff or bragging about their cute kid or whatever the contest happens to be? But then the two things that you can do and should be doing on a per issue basis are business basics and contextual calls to action. And what these are real systematic ways to get people to go to your website, not instead of print, but in addition to print. And when you do a great job, it will be share-worthy. And that means that they will literally hit like or share or something to push you out to their friends, which gets more brand exposure and can even bolster your print exposure. So I'm going to talk for just a second about what business basics are and what contextual calls to action are, and then Ryan has some tips, tricks, and some suggestions to make sure that you're using the approaches and the tools that we provide in the right way and getting the most out of it. So Business Basics, if you're a magazine, is a 1-page or 2-page spread in each issue. If you're a newspaper, it might be a ribbon at the bottom of the first or second page. The idea here is it's a consistent refrain that your readers will see that the web is more and different than print. So in this case, looking at Mountain View Publishing, I'll highlight a few things that you see here. Obviously, you say follow us on Facebook, that sort of stuff. Sign up for our newsletter with a little description of what they could see. What are you going to send them? I'm going to send you breaking news. We've got some discounts and coupons. We've got great upcoming events. Whatever it is that you want to share, that is what you can list there, and people can, of course, opt in, and we'll help you nurture that list. You may have some web exclusives. You can highlight those here. In the case of Local Spotlight that you see, these are specific businesses that are advertisers, and it's a way to throw in just a little extra value on top of the digital stuff that's going on for those businesses. Of course, you'll see below that is a call out about the calendar and that you can put your events online. You may want to, again, mention that post them online, and you may see them here in print because you can, of course, export the web events for print. And on the right is just a thank you to all of the web advertisers and the paid listings in the directory. And so it's a way for them to get, again, a little extra value in print. So this is sort of the basics of here's what's going on around town that's not in print. And then you get contextual calls to action. And this is sort of it's slightly more complicated but very, very powerful. And the idea here is if someone is reading an article in your publication and they are engaged and they make it to the end, they probably are looking for more that they can learn about that topic, the people listed, the businesses, etc. And so these contextual calls to action are literally calls to action that are contextual to the article, and they send people online for more. These graphics templates that we provide are being used, although we're sometimes seeing them being used incorrectly. So I'm going to ask Ryan to share a bit about what he sees, what the best use of them are, and how you can get to using them in your publication.
Yeah, so thanks, Brian. We provide this file. It's a Photoshop file. For those of you who aren't familiar with Photoshop, there's a concept of layers in the file. And as you show and hide layers, you can see the different icons that we provide. The thing that I see most often that we don't recommend is publishers go ahead and take the icons and use them incorrectly or continually change them from issue to issue. The reason for the icon and, in fact, the header, so, for example, Gallery Extra in the top right here, it's meant to condition the reader, so when they see Gallery Extra or when they see the Polaroid icon, that they know what they're going to find when they get to the website. So it doesn't matter if you use these specific icons or if you want to come up with your own or if you want to tweak the titles or whatever, but do it once and then stick with it. Always use the same icon and same header every time you do a Gallery Extra, for example. The things that should change should be the picture, because you want the picture to be related to whatever the gallery is that you're featuring. You can change the description to give a little bit more context. In all likelihood, in the next probably month or so, I'm going to come up with some new icons. The one that I think is probably missing from the set that we currently provide is what I would call, either online blogs or online exclusives. To me, that's pretty similar to the one in the bottom right, which is recipes. I would say any kind of additional content or story or article or whatever you want to call it that you're going to go online, I would use the same blog icon and then pick a headline and stick with it, whether it's recipes for recipes or online exclusives for other types of content. It doesn't really matter. The thing I want to get across is consistency is key in conditioning people to continually come back to your site, and that's one thing that I see publishers mix up a little bit as they're using these call to actions.
And I think that's really a great point, because when you start to use these effectively on articles that do elicit that sort of I want to learn more in your readers, you're going to see an immediate increase in web traffic. But this is part of the long game. As you think about, you've got your recurring editorial calendar and things that happen sort of same time every year. you're preparing people and advertisers for what's to come. You know, think back to that old story of Pavlov's dog, right? Every time he rang the bell, he then provided food, and by the time 2 weeks had passed, he'd ring the bell and the dog would start drooling regardless of whether the food was present. We want your readers, as they're going through, to be seeing these icons, to Ryan's point, to know what they mean and to actually affect their behavior, to say, oh, I need to dog ear this page to remember to go online to look at the gallery, or maybe to post my own pictures to the gallery. I want to see this video, I want to get that recipe, I want to join this contest, and all of a sudden you're conditioning your readers to go online and participate. And once that starts to pick up, we talked a bit about participation last week, but once that starts to pick up, you can also start pulling content from the web back into print, and that further reinforces this notion that your brand is clearly the print product is clearly the foundation of your brand. But the experience spans print, web, mobile, social. And that's where you want to get to so that people look to you first, even between issues and online. And so, again, just to sort of connect these last dots, you've got the print article with the call to action. You go online, and we're not going to talk about the in this issue approach. We talked about that last time. We've got some videos and whatnot, but there's an approach you should use to welcome your web visitors from print. But then you land on this particular post online by Gary Tasker, which should include links out to Tasker Landscaping in your directory, upcoming events in your calendar, and again, using all of the features that the system affords you to beef them up and make them really effective. And wouldn't you know, Tasker Landscaping is going to promote the heck out of this particular article, which will further drive traffic to your site. Now, clearly, driving more traffic, driving more engagement is good for your brand. It's good for ad sales. It's good because, frankly, a lot of the people who go online and participate are local business owners. But there's one other thing that a lot of publishers simply forget, and that your print product is the best sales tool that you have. So what does this have to do with digital? Well, it's simple. A lot of local businesses think that you're in the same business that they are, or you have the same challenges that they do, and they think, I don't have very many people going to my website. So when you come in and you start talking about digital and engagement and audience, sometimes the fundamental question they don't understand is, how do you get someone to go to your website? They don't realize that you have this huge audience, that you do all these fun things. And so when you can slam down your print publication and say, look how beautiful it is, look how you can participate, look what you can do in print, and then you start talking about digital and they say, well, how do you drive traffic? And you go, let me clarify this for you. See, as readers are coming through here, right away they're presented with some things they can find online. And so immediately we're driving our print readers online for this added content. And as they're running through and they're reading about this content or that content, you can see that we're consistently reinforcing the message to go online. And they're already searching out this content after they read it in print. Now we're making it real easy for them to go to our website. You can be there when they go there. That's how we drive. That's how we engage. And all of a sudden, you're going to start selling more simply because you are doing these things in print, which are easy for advertisers to understand. And that's really what we want to get to, so that even the least technical person can understand, if I read this article and I want to learn more, I'm going to go online and learn more. And they can really simply connect the dots on that front. This is something that, again, we're happy to help you with individually. If you want feedback on the calls to action or want to make sure you're getting the most out of your web content that you post, we're happy to help. And we're also going to do some more things with you to beef up your literature to make selling easier, which I'll talk about in just a moment. But this wraps up the sort of official schedule of the of this webinar. I'll give you a few moments to write in your questions, and I'm going to talk about what you can expect next time, which will be a little bit more of a brainstorming conversation.
I did want to add one thing about the call to actions. You can see that all ours are set up to be very visual. We always include the image. People are more visual. They're more inclined to see it. It doesn't get lost on the page. So we recommend doing that. That said, when you're designing your magazine, I understand that, or your newspaper, I understand that you don't always have that much real estate to use. So if you need to make it smaller, it's still really important to have the icon and header and the description, but if you need to get rid of the picture or change the orientation or move it. I've seen publishers put it in the middle of an article if it was contextually relevant to something at that point in the story. All those things are acceptable. The key thing is to do it consistently. So I just wanted to add that last piece to clarify that.
I think that's a great point. And with any call to action, whether it's an ad that you're building for a client or whether it's something in Business Basics or a contextual call to action, the key is clearly communicating what the reader is expected to do and why they should do it. And as long as you're doing that, you'll be in good shape. In this case, you do want to be consistent so that in a year, every reader knows what the icons mean, even if they just happen to open it to the middle of your book.
And one last tip, it's also good to be consistent on the other end. So when they get to the website, you should be using the same headline and description on the article that you're posting online as you're using in the call to action, or at least close enough where the connection is easily made, because the worst thing that can happen is people go to your website, they're looking at the In This Issue article where everything is kind of gathered, and they're like, I don't understand which link I'm supposed to click on to get to this gallery. So you want to be clear and obvious, and then we talked about this a little bit last week, but you don't want to be too cute with your titles because online the title tells people, it gives them the contextual relevance that they need to find what they're looking for.
Yeah. As a rule of thumb, I'd say whatever your image is, make that the main image online. That didn't happen in this case. But if you make that the case, then there's that visual connection and reinforcement that you can do. Okay, so next time we're going to cover a little bit of a different conversation. We're working on creating a standard media kit template. We've seen a range of media kits, and some are very good, but most could have some improvements. And whether they're too wordy, too focused on what the publisher cares about, but not enough about what the advertiser cares about, or just incredibly light on anything that speaks beyond the printed ad. And so we're creating a standard media kit, and we want to go through that with you, get your feedback, give you something that you can either incorporate into yours or go the other way and incorporate your stuff into ours. We'll talk about the insertion order and the super simple techniques for you to improve your contract. Some of you have already seen this, to make sure that digital is top of mind for your ad sales reps and your advertisers. Then we're going to switch gears. So we've been doing a lot of upgrades to the design, a lot of new features, and we're starting to work on mobile optimization, which I know a number of you are interested in. There's one particular challenge that mobile presents that we want to get your feedback on as publishers. And it's not a technical issue, it's a practical one. How do we show ads on mobile? The ad sizes, the ad placements, all of the things that you see on your website have been designed and placed based on research that we've done and that others have done to really maximize value and impact without being too annoying or distracting or interrupting to your visitors. The problem is the orientation and the size of mobile is very, very different. And so many of the ads wouldn't naturally fit nicely or even be readable on that screen size. And so we're considering things like going to a single ad size for mobile, or maybe two, having a different set of ads for mobile than web so that it can be more appropriate for the medium. But the challenge there, of course, means it somewhat complicates the sale, or at least the execution on your end. So as you are going about your business for the next week, I'll ask you and encourage you to, as you visit websites on your mobile device, look at how they're presenting ads and promotional material. And think about what you like, what you don't like. And next week, if you can, ahead of our meeting, email us some examples, but also this will be more of a conversation. So we want to get your feedback as we're implementing this last step in mobile optimization to make sure that we're getting your input on the topic. After that, we're going to preview some new features that are coming and new capabilities in Q1. We've been working away, really trying to shore up a lot of the foundational stuff, so you should be seeing fewer oddities around the system, faster speed on a whole. We're wrapping up all of those things throughout December, which will make the site faster and more responsive and all these things. And then we're switching gears, and we're investing quite a bit of money into new features, particularly around the directory tools and how people can become more engaged in your site. Basically, how you can get more content engagement without having to post more. So we're going to preview those, get a little bit of feedback, explain what's going on, and give you a sense of what the next 3 or 4 months has to look like on the technical front. So it should be a good call and a good sort of getting to the end of the year and preparing for next year. With that, those of you who'd like to go and immediately implement these things, you are dismissed. But if you have any questions, if you'd like to ask any questions, get more clarifications, or see more examples of anything, we're going to be around for a few more minutes to address those. All right. Doesn't look like there's any other questions, so if there are, just send us a message through the Help Center, and hopefully this was a good call that gives you some things you can do immediately to engage your audience in new ways. Have a great week. We look forward to talking again soon. Thanks.